here. I'm here with Chris. We just had this fantastic peer learning experiment, and Chris is just going to say what he learned from this as a teacher, which is novel. Do teachers learn things from their lessons? That's amazing. Here's Chris.
Yeah, I think it was, and I thank Martin for his support on this, because he came up partly with the idea, as well as Jay, in terms of getting learners to share their experience and taking their experience, each of them preparing something which they were then using a sort of video format to put the message over. And we were just reflecting on this, and it's interesting, two things that didn't really occur to me before the lesson, which sort of seemed quite interesting now, is the range of formats that these people will use to be able to put over a single message. For example, we were talking about revenue generation in a front desk format in a hotel, and we saw a mixture of interviews, which was looking at different skills that people would have to bring to this function. We saw a kind of documentary where we were looking at the different departments within the hotel, which was absolutely fascinating. And then we looked at a kind of cross sort of review, three people talking to each other, and then we saw a role play at the end, which was fabulous as well. So we sort of comedy, we saw a sort of serious approach, and we saw sort of real life situations being played out, and we would have never have guessed that could have been created in that way. But the second point we think is really interesting as well, maybe from sort of other teachers' point of view, is that once you look at the opportunity of using a video format, it focuses the learners pretty quickly on the task that they're trying to do. And so my experience of this exercise here is with the experienced learners, as we have here with second year learners, probably half an hour preparation in terms of storyboarding and scoping and who's going to do what and agreeing the formats and how they cover the questions is probably enough, because once the camera starts working, you start to see this become quite natural. The learning and the knowledge is well embedded in these type of students. And so the learning points for us today, I think, is you can do something like this, and it doesn't need a lot of preparation. Maybe half an hour, three-quarters of an hour is adequate. And also be amazed at the different type of formats that they've come up with, which kind of should really inspire us, in a sense, in what we could be doing in terms of how we put over the subjects. So thanks again, Martin, for your support on that.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks very much. Yeah, I was just talking to Chris earlier before on that, and on revenue generation, how you could make it very boring with sort of black and white death by PowerPoint, but even any dry subject could be made really exciting. I was amazed by the breadth of student input into this, all the different angles and perspectives. So, Chris, thanks very much.